We're back.
We're back. How long did it take us?
It's almost, I feel like 3 years,
I feel
two
like-
and a half years now.
Yeah, I feel like that's about right. So
like that.
this is a huge gap
Wow.
between episode 15 and 16. This is we're gonna call it a new season because that's how Spotify sorts things out. As you can,
Saying a new season.
as you can tell, things are very clearly different. We don't have the.
Sean's bald.
Yeah, I'm bald now. That's just a thing that we keep around here. Bald and bearded, baby. Nice and sexy looking for you. We have a little bit of a new display. It's a little boring. We're going to kind of change it up because I'm not going to lie, these green boxes are not really doing it for me. And we only have the blurred background right now because we both forgot to update stuff so we can keep having the good background. Jeremy doesn't know how to keep a camera clean still yet, though. But that's why we're unprofessional, right?
You remember last time it's been so long since I used my camera.
I know, right?
It was disconnected.
So, hey, what are we talking about today? We've got kind of 3 topics we're going to go over, spend about 20 minutes on each one of these topics. We have
10 minutes, bro. 20 minutes.
20 minutes on each topic.
It's a 2-hour. What?
3 topics at 20 minutes. 20, 40, 60. That's 1 hour.
Oh, we had 6 topics for today.
What 6 topics did you have?
Oh, wait. Man, I don't know. I got so much shit.
We're very clearly back, but not back. But today, we are going to have 3 topics. We're still working on names with them. The first topic, we have a name that we're going off of is Jeremy, read it, because I can't change my screen to read what it actually says. It's running topic of...
She said.
It's in the weekly topics tab, dog. It's in the weekly topics tab. Says running
Food for
name.
thought.
Food for thought. Yes, that's what we're calling it. Temporary name of food for thought. We're gonna kind of mess around with it, see if we like it or not. We have food for thought. We have where they at, and we're gonna finish with just some baseball talk. I think those are kind of the 3 things we're gonna hit on. Spend about 20 minutes on each. Hopefully, when we upload this to YouTube, it'll have timestamps of like the sections we're talking about. So let's get into the first topic, food for thought. Do you want me to go first, or you going first? Or you want me to go first? You go first. How are we doing this?
I'll let you go first, man.
Okay. Like, you go first, talk about the Colts, or you go first? Let me explain the topic, I guess, is what we probably should do. The topic, food for thought, is going to be one where I look at things that the Colts have done within the past week or so. Jeremy's looking at things the Bears have done, and because, I obviously have my thoughts about the Bears. He has his thoughts about the Colts. We're going to try and almost like stump each other, but try and get just what they're thinking on things currently going on the team and what they would change. So I will go first. My food for thought for you guys is, first question, who's going to be your quarterback next year? There is a clip floating around of the one and only Rich Eisen talking about how at the NFL Combine he heard some NFL rumors that the Colts were going to be bringing in a quarterback for competition. So let's take a listen to what he thinks that competition looks like.
Idea of competition for Anthony Richardson is Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones.
Oh my goodness.
Hey man, Shane Steichen is, as you know,
What are we doing?
what are we doing is maybe running him and throwing him and giving him an offense and an offensive line that he didn't have in New Jersey. And dude, you could do a heck of a lot worse than that wide receiving core in that running game. Daniel Jones in Indianapolis intrigues me, to say the least. That's not a bad idea.
Poor K.
I heard that. Why?
Yeah.
Because he's still young, and he can run it, and he can throw it, and maybe he can light a fire with Anthony Richardson. That's the competition I think the Colts are envisioning right now.
Huh?
Or at least I heard. Please, everybody. See, I'm beginning to
You're getting hot.
break out in hives
You're
here.
starting to sweat a little bit. It's okay.
Daniel Jones to compete for the starting job to try and boost Anthony Richardson into being a better quarterback. What are your thoughts on something like that?
Dude, like, I understand because Richardson had a down year. Granted, that was his freshman year basically because he played all of 4 games his rookie year. You know, if the Giants are gonna pay for 90% of his contract, so we're only gonna pay like a little bit of money.
He's a free agent, ain't he?
No, he signed a extension, a 4-year, $160 million extension in 23.
Okay.
So he's still got 2 years left on his current contract. So he's got 92 mil guaranteed. So that's probably what, like a little over 22 mil a year.
Right around there.
You know,
Yeah.
well, I'll pay $5 million. Pay the other 17.
Unfortunately,
I wouldn't be too mad about it.
I don't think that's gonna happen. Unfortunately, that's a little. I could see you guys taking on like 10 to 12 million of his contract a year, so total 24 million. You're still getting it a little bit more than what you would get Justin Fields, who we'll get to later. Recently just signed with the Jets, but. Is there any other quarterbacks out there on the market that would interest you even to bring in? I know a guy that is very familiar with the team. Gardner Minshew is still available. He has not signed anywhere. You have Russell Wilson, who at the time of this recording has not signed. You have Aaron Rodgers, who at the time of this recording has not signed. So there are still, some veteran quarterbacks out there that could push Anthony Richardson, or could essentially make this team better. Are there any of those guys that maybe interest you a little bit more than what a Danny Dimes would?
Oh, Danny Dimes. Honestly, what are we gonna go back to another over 40-year-old backup possible starter quarterback? Like
I mean,
we have?
that's exactly what you want in your backup, though. I'm going to throw in my 2 cents real fast just because it's something
you're not wrong, but we've done this thing before. We see how it turns out.
The problem is when you guys have done it, though, your backup quarterback ends up being the starter, and you leave him as the starter. You don't let the other guy grow, especially since you guys have had that quarterback carousel, just like the Bears have, of guys coming in and out the door that are just they play for a season start.
You cannot say Bears have a quarterback carousel like the Colts.
Wait, I'm not saying like the Colts. I'm saying we have also had one. You got to think in the last, well, we've had a coach carousel too. But you got to think in the last 12 years we've had like six or 7 different starting quarterbacks throughout the season. If you include back,
we had a new starting quarterback since 2018 every single year.
Yeah,
we're not the same.
I'm not saying we're the same.
We're not the same.
I'm saying at least you had success with the quarterback at one point. But you got what I'm trying to say is like, as me as a Bears fan right now, there is discussions. There's discussions that Tyson Bagent will not be returning as the Bears' backup quarterback. There's discussions that Ben Johnson, the new Bears head coach, wants a veteran backup quarterback, someone like Joe Flacco. So there's conversations that Tyson Bagent gets traded or released, and the Bears may sign a veteran Joe Flacco to help Caleb Williams progress through, help him grow and learn. Now, if you're signing,
I can see that.
If you're signing a guy like that to do that for your team, I don't see that as an issue at all.
True.
So, but
at this point, the Colts need to just like this is Anthony Richardson's final shot. Like there's going to be good quarterbacks in the draft next year. We need to realize, hey, this is a failed experiment. All right, Chris Ballard, you've done good for the last. You've done good.
That's gonna bring me to my next topic because we do have to progress this along a little bit here. How hot is Chris Ballard's seat? You said he's done good.
On fire, yeah, quote unquote done good because his seat is literally like on fire.
But is it though? Because we thought he was potentially getting released this year. However, we've seen what your guys' owner likes to do, and when he has connections to a person, he refuses to let him go. That's why he hired who was your interim head coach?
To Peyton, and he let Peyton walk.
Well, you know what I mean. When it comes to personal, you guys hired Jeff Saturday as your interim head coach, who wasn't even tied to the team at the time, mind you. It was a random outside hire for a head coach who then you very heavily considered, he was a top 3, if I remember right, to be the next head coach. your owner, refresh me on his name. I can't think of it off the top of my head. Yeah, Jim Irsay, crackhead, likes to keep people that he is connected to very close to him. And unfortunately for you guys, Chris Ballard is a very close guy for him. And that's essentially one of the reasons why I don't think he got fired this year. So is his seat really as hot as we think it is? Or is it actually Stefanski? I can't say your coach's head name. Why am I thinking Stefanski?
No,
wow, that's a Browns. It's oh my gosh. Yeah, so you guys have Steichen, who I think at this point is on a hotter seat than Stefanski. Not Stefanski. Wow, why is Stefanski keep popping in my head? Is on a hotter seat than Chris Ballard, just because he doesn't have the ties to Jim Irsay like Ballard does.
Yeah,
is that?
I see what you mean, but at the same time, like, again, year 7, Jim Irsay was saying, "Oh, the Indianapolis Colts are going to bring 2 Super Bowls by 2030." Well,
you're halfway.
25,
you're halfway there, and you're nowhere close.
Made the playoffs since I think 2021 or 2020.
I mean, in all fairness, Ryan Poles said that's also true. But also, in all fairness, Ryan Poles said the Bears are going to take the North when he got hired back in 21, and we see how well that's going when we have the best division in football at the moment. So I'm optimistic because of the things we've done. I'm not over the moon about everything yet. I still have hesitations, but we'll talk about that. We'll talk about me in a minute.
Anyways, with Chris Ballard, like, this is, I feel like, his first off season at the trade deadline like this, to where he's actually brought in names.
We're not trade. We're free agency started today, not trade.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you guys have done great with your free agents. You guys acquired 2 free agents today.
We needed safety in our DBs, and that's what he did. So
yeah, you guys brought in Chardavius Ward and safety. I cannot remember his name at the time, but both of which are incredible DBs and can help your team going forward. And I think that's huge for you guys.
Yeah, I agree. We got good defensive backs now. So now we just got to get more help in that interior line section. Like, we need to just get more pressure on the QB, and I think defensive-wise we'll be set.
And now that brings me to the last topic I have for you. The Combine just happened recently. I was privileged enough to go down once again and got to see QB, wide receivers, and running backs. Where do you think the Colts go? Just an initial 30 seconds, 60 seconds. You think you go tight end? Really? In a lot of the mock drafts I've seen lately, they have you guys taking Kelvin Banks, the offensive tackle from Texas. No, you guys think you go tight end?
We resigned our right tackle earlier today.
There's 2 tackles on a football field. You know that, right?
Yeah, our left tackle is he's like a newer guy. I don't remember the top of my head. We just resigned our right tackle, Braden Smith.
And you guys did also just lose.
Line is good. We have decent offensive line depth.
But you did just lose your center. You just lost your center. So my guess is you guys are going to have a guard slide over to play center. That's technically one of those things that tends to happen.
For most of the season, we had our backup center play, and he was doing better than our starter.
Interesting. Well, if you guys think you go tight end, is there a tight end that you have seen that you liked, or is there
Penn State?
Penn State. Man, what is his name?
Tyler Warren.
Tyler Warren. Do you think you guys are projecting 13, 14? You're right in that range. You're right in the middle, if I'm not mistaken.
In there.
Because I know the Bears are at 10, and I think there's 2. I think you guys are at 13? I think you're at 13.
I don't remember the top of my head. But yeah, no, it's...
Do you think that's a reach, or is it something that maybe you guys trade back for?
No, we need to get a tight end. I'm pissed that we didn't try to trade up for Brock Bowers last year. We see how he did.
Mm-hmm.
You know, number 1 receiver on their team, set the all-time rookie.
Yeah, don't
leader.
remind a Bears fan that the Bears record just got broken. All right, he had an incredible season, but I see
stud for my fantasy league.
Yeah, what about corner? I know you guys have signed a corner, but with getting another corner or free safety, no, you're going all in on tight end.
We need to get a tight end.
Okay.
Our current 3 tight ends are just not good. They're like barely average. We need a tight end that's kind of like that all around, can catch, can block, all that stuff. Like we need that. We need another offensive weapon in the middle of the field.
Okay. All right. So now I guess it's your turn to ask me questions.
Yep, enough talking about my team. We'll talk about the Bears and their explosive day that they had today. Starting with, well, so it's funny. The topics that we had were before all the signings today. Revamping the Bears O-line,
which is still relevant.
It is, but I mean, you guys have signed now what 3 top names?
We didn't
being an All-Pro.
We signed 1 name. We traded for 2. Traded for Jonah Jackson.
Acquired. We'll just say acquired.
Acquired. I like acquired.
We
the Bears have done incredible. Ben Johnson and Ryan Poles, I think bringing in Ben Johnson has given this team a very clear vision of where they want to go, and that has been so incredible because, you know, we felt like a team without direction before. So having a coach that Ryan Poles himself has stated that he is the smartest head coach he's been in a room with. It was in one of the interviews. Ryan's like, this is one of the smartest head coaches I've been in. And of course, it became a giant meme in all of Chicago. Like, wow, Eberflus must have been that stupid that, like, even just someone that can come in and color a crayon inside the lines is smart enough to outsmart him. But having someone come in and know what they want and to get the guys they want, you know, the Joe Thuney trade was a trade that I think came from Ryan Poles. Ryan Poles had a big part of bringing Thuney to Kansas City back when he was the assistant GM. And then Jonah Jackson, he was tied obviously with Ben Johnson when he was the first 4 years of his career in Detroit. So that was huge. He didn't do well last year because LA tried moving him to center. He got hurt. When he came back, he got outperformed by the young center that they had out there, and they already had good guard positions and good tackles. And one of the things the Rams tend to do in Sean McVay, they will sign someone and try it, and if it doesn't work, they are very quick to move on from it. And that's exactly what happened. The Bears traded, I believe, a 5th this year and a 6th next year for those 2 guys, both of which are incredible. Joe Thuney in the last year of his contract, I'm expecting the Bears to give him an extension so that way we can move some of his money around to help with the cap hit. He's 32, a little bit older, but he's a veteran guy on the O-line that's going to be actually fairly young because we just signed a 26-year-old center who's actually been 4 years in this league and has done very well for the Falcons in, oh my gosh, his name just fell in my head. You don't happen to have it pulled up, do you?
Is it Drew Dahlman?
Drew Dahlman, thank you. Man, I've been screaming his name all day and I can't even think of it. Drew Dahlman, a very young center. Jonah Jackson, only 28, still has 3 years left on his deal. So what I like is both of those guys, I don't know if you can tell this or not, they're tied to Caleb Williams' contract. Jonah Jackson still has 3 years. And then you signed Drew Dahlman for 3 years. Caleb Williams has 3 years plus a 1 year for the first round. So both of those guys tied to Caleb Williams, relatively young. And then we have okay tackles. It's one thing that I still hope we address upcoming. But in terms of what we've done, we went guard to guard, making this team better, and we've seen that have success for teams in the past, and I think the Bears have a possibility to be one of those teams.
You know why all this is happening, right?
Because Caleb Williams got sacked 66 times and we had 27 different line combinations last year?
Well, that, but you guys are going from a defensive background head coach to an offensive-minded head coach.
Yes, which is something that
that, also just led the Lions to back-to-back NFC championship. Well, yeah.
No, not NFC.
NFC championship and then the division.
Yeah,
round, so.
And won assistant coach of the year. And was a highly sought-after head coach last year, declined everybody because he said he wanted to come back and learn one more season behind I almost said Matt Patricia. Holy crap. Behind, the head coach out there in Detroit. Wanted to learn one more year behind him. Comes to Chicago. He's been secretly building his roster of coaches. It's been reported for quite a while. And now we see he brought in former head coach for the Raiders and the Saints and the former defensive coordinator for the Saints. And I am incredibly excited for what this team has to offer underneath Ben Johnson.
Well, speaking of defense, another one of the topics that you have is we talked about the O-line. Now I got to look on the other side of the ball, the D-line. So you guys signed Dio Dengbo, former Colts defensive end.
I know you're not high on him, but from what I have been hearing is this is something you're not going to want to hear, but the DC has said that he is almost a perfect fit. Not because he is a disruptor and he can get in there and get sacks, but because he's a big bodied dude that can get in there and push people around. That's what the DC wants. And so he is going out there and he's getting those guys. I don't think the Bears are done on the defensive side of on the defensive trenches yet. We also signed the defensive tackle from the Falcons. Name, please. Why don't I write these down? I definitely need to write.
Jarrett?
Yes, thank you. It was a weird name. Grady Jarrett from the Falcons. So we got 2 Falcons today, which is pretty cool. But Grady Jarrett, an incredible defensive tackle he's also an older guy. He's 32, 31. He'll be 32, I think. Yeah, I think he'll be 32 when season starts. Older, veteran guy. I'm a big fan of getting the young guys. However, I understand that you need to have veteran presence. So, Ojigba? Is that how you say his name? I can't ever fucking... Odangbo. I don't know where I'm getting Ojigba. Odangbo. He just got off his rookie deal. So he's a guy that I think the Bears are seeing as a prospect still, and that they can help build and progress into the guy they want to be. It's reported that the Bears want him to develop into who was the defensive end that the Saints had underneath of him back in the day. I can't think of what his name is, but a big dude had a big old beard. I can remember. I'm picturing his face. I can't think of it. But the Bears have rebuilt both sides of the trenches, which was our biggest flaw and our biggest needs. And so this has been absolutely huge, and it gives me hope. I don't think we're done on the defensive side of the football. There is a couple free agents still out there that I would like to see us try and be aggressive towards. The Bears have obviously spent money today, but it's not bad money spent, and when you have the cap room, you might as well use it.
True. Well, so segmenting in from that, we'll go on to our last topic, which is Ashton Genty, obviously the very sought-after running back in this year's draft, has allegedly already talked to Eric Bieniemy and no other running back.
Yeah, so we have a clip here from something he was asked about at the Combine. We're going to play where he briefly does mention that he's already met with the team, and it was already mentioned that he had met with Eric Bieniemy, specifically the running backs coach.
Ashton, you had a chance to meet with the Bears. How did that interview go for you?
It went great. Talking with Coach Bieniemy, just talking football, talking about my life. It was a great meeting. It was a great meeting with all of them.
Yeah. So when that clip first came out back in late February, when the Combine was going on, I was very hesitant. It's no stranger that Ben Johnson drafted. I almost said Swift, but not Swift. Sonic Knuckles, one of the two, not David Montgomery, but the running back out there in Detroit. My goodness, drafted him very early Jahmyr Gibbs. Thank you. When no one expected them to sign or draft a running back in the first round. So this is not something that's outside of Ben Johnson's MO. And had you asked me when that clip came out, I would have said absolutely not. We have way too many holes for us to be signing or drafting a running back in the top 10. That was ridiculous to me. There's still some decent running backs out there. But now that all these signings have happened, I still stand by that. We have a young defensive tackle in Braxton Jones on the right side of the ball. However, Ben Johnson and Ryan Poles both said that the plan is to rebuild the offensive line with 3 pieces this year. Now, granted, they've already gone out and got those 3 pieces. We mentioned them earlier. I don't see a world where the Bears shouldn't go for a 4th piece. There's guys that I have absolutely loved watching. This is a very deep class for the offensive side for the offensive line and the defensive line of the football. So guys at 10 that I would love to see the Bears draft or trade back to draft. If Will Campbell is there at 10 from LSU, the left tackle, which is a spot that the Bears need to help protect because Caleb Williams is blindsides back there. If Will Campbell's there at 10 and we take Ashton Genty, I will probably riot. Getting a guy like Will Campbell is absolutely incredible, and he's there. He's the natural left tackle. People say his arms are too short. Listen, if you look at his measurements, they are a half an inch shorter than the average offensive tackle.
Hey man, half inch is a big.
For you, yes, it's very big. So offensive tackle, half inch. People are saying he has to play guard. He couldn't do it. He's been an offensive tackle for 4 years at LSU. He started when he was a sophomore, if I'm not mistaken. He's been starting at LSU for 3 years as an offensive tackle. He will be fine. That's an SEC school. So if he's there at 10, I think you have to take him. Now, if Will Campbell is gone, and Ashton Genty is there. I'm 50-50. At that point, I would actually like to see the Bears trade back and get a guy like Kelvin Banks from Texas, who I actually have seen many people predict the Colts taking. I'd like to see us move back 1 or 2 spots and grab him. Otherwise, we still need edge help. Like I said, signing Oka, help me one more time. I'm never going to say Odangbo. Is not exactly what we need. We still need a power, fast rusher. And when I see that, I think Michael Williams from Georgia, I think Mike Green from Marshall, both of them incredibly fast guys, strong guys, have a quick first step, help that D-line. And if, God forbid, all 4 of those guys are there gone, I would love to see us trade way back and take Gray Zabel in the late first round. He's a guy that I've seen pinged all over the place. I've seen him go as high as 18. I saw one today after the Bears made the signings that they did today, having the Bears taking him at 10. He's an offensive tackle and a center. So, an offensive line. He was considered a guard and a center. However, he played offensive tackle. He played tackle at North Dakota State. So he's a guy that at the Senior Bowl absolutely blew everyone away. He was winning drills. He won the game. He played all 3 positions on the offensive line at the Senior Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. He also won MVP, and he was voted best O-lineman at the Senior Bowl. So he's going up against guys that are actually going to be in the NFL, and I don't know if you know this or not, but at the Senior Bowl, they always vote on best for position-wise. So best O-lineman, best D-lineman, best DB, best receiver. And when those are voted on, they're voted on the people that are going against them. So best O-line is actually voted on by defensive linemen there at the Senior Bowl. Best receiver is voted on by best corner and vice versa. So best quarterback, best linebackers, running back, and quarterback. So it's actually a very cool award. And the fact that he has been nominated for that is absolutely incredible, and that he won those. And so I've seen him go all over the place. I've seen him go 10 to the Bears. I've seen him go 32 to the Bears, actually, believe it or not. I saw one where the Bears traded back up into the first round and grabbed him at 32. I've seen somewhere he goes 18 to the Chargers. I believe they're at 18. Whoever was at 18. So it's a guy that I think if we trade back, I'd absolutely love. He can play anywhere on the offensive line, and he can learn from a lot of the people. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on the upcoming draft. And with Ashton Genty, I wouldn't mind having him, but I still see too many holes for us to grab Ashton Genty just yet.
That's fair.
All right, so that brings us to our second topic of the day called, where they at? Where everybody go? Today is Monday, February 10th, the start of the legal... Jesus Christ, I don't know my months. March 10th, start of the legal tampering period, which, by the way, can we talk about legal tampering? There's no such thing as illegal tampering.
Well, there is in the
No,
NFL.
there's not. There is either tampering, which is illegal, or there's legal periods to talk. There's no such thing as legal tampering. It's a contradiction. Anyway, I'm going on a rant. I have a couple big names that I've seen moved. Mine are more dedicated to the quarterbacks. The market has kind of slowed down as of right now. It's about 9:15, and I haven't seen very much getting reported. The biggest one that I'm seeing that is a big question mark, and we have a source on this that is before anyone else has broke this. So if this goes live tomorrow and it ends up happening tomorrow afternoon, you heard it first here. Aaron Rodgers to the Steelers. Sources are telling us Aaron Rodgers to the Steelers. Very likely, I would have loved to see him go to Minnesota because selfish me wants to see him complete the same cycle. It's still possible. But it's looking, especially since Justin Fields went to the Jets. That's another one that happened today. 2 years, $40 million, $35 million fully guaranteed. $30 million. Yeah. Anyway, by the way, that man has made a bag in his career. You realize in his years he's made $70 million in the NFL. Yeah, man's made a bag. Good for him though. But with him going to the Jets, that leaves a quarterback position open. Many don't believe that Russell Wilson will return. So inside reporters are telling us, I'll say us because we're a combo here, but more telling me, get fucked, that Aaron Rodgers will be going to Pittsburgh. Some other notable signings in the quarterback position and just other moves that have happened because it's been kind of a crazy week. I don't know if you saw this or not, but Josh Allen got the largest guaranteed contract in NFL history, getting a $300 million extension, $250 million fully guaranteed. Sam Darnold signed a contract with the Seahawks for 3 years, $100 million. Kenny Pickett got traded to the Browns for a backup quarterback, and I believe a 5th round, if I'm not mistaken. They swapped fives?
They swap backup quarterbacks, and then they gave a 5th.
Okay.
To the Eagles.
My notepad here, I only have one trade written down. So I'm just spitting the rest of these and these numbers on the top of my head. That's just how much I know this stuff. Geno Smith was traded to the Raiders. That compensation, I'm not sure exactly off the top of my head what it was. However, Geno Smith is now moving to the Raiders. And I'm not gonna lie, on my drive home today, you know what I was saying to myself? Where the heck is Zach Wilson? And whatever happened to him? Well, I got my answer as soon as I walked in the door. I checked my phone. I see Zach Wilson signs a contract to be the backup quarterback in Miami. So now he gets to go down to the Sunshine State. Zach Milfson is going to return one more time for another season. Another big move that we had today, Laramie Tunzel, the 5-time All-Pro left tackle from the Texans, has been traded to the Washington Commanders for a 2nd this year, a 4th next year, and then a 2nd this year and a 4th this year, and then a 3rd rounder next year. So those are some big noticeable ones outside of what we have already discussed. The Colts signings of 2 DBs, the Bears signing of the offensive tackle, and the defensive side of the football. Jeremy, do you have anything you would like to talk about at this moment?
There's a cool little one that I saw. Chase Young, he's been thrown around a few different teams.
Re-signed.
A 3-year, $51. Yeah, technically a re-sign. 3-year, $51 million deal with the Saints. Kind of a cool story there.
Yep. Do we want to talk about the Cowboys actually being all in and signing a running back for $3 million today?
Oh my.
That is all they've done. The guy that I would have loved to see the Bears grab on the defensive side of the football, I almost said Montez Sweat, but it's not Montez Sweat. It's the other Sweat. It's bubblegum. Sweat, not sweater. Oh my God, Google. Sweat. Josh Sweat signs a $76.4 million contract with the Cardinals, which is only $20 million more than the Bears gave Ojigba. I know his name's not Ojigba. I don't care. I'm calling him Ojigba. So the guy I would love to see goes to the Cardinals. We did have a re-signing of Brian Murphy to the Vikings recently. That news just broke. Chargers are signing Najee Harris. Jeremy, I can't read all of these. I need your help.
I'm looking.
Do you want to hit on with the? Do we want to real quick talk about the guy who was insisting he's been wanting to be traded for 2 months and said that there was nothing that the team could do, and then he re-signed with them for an absolute boatload? Do you want to talk about that? I'll let you talk about. I'll let you hit that one for a minute.
Yeah, let's pull it up here. Yeah, obviously Myles Garrett was like, I don't want to play for the Browns anymore. I want to go to a team that's gonna win. You know. Everybody says that until they throw, what is it, $40 million guaranteed a year at them?
Yeah, for 4 years. Players. So now he's signed for 6 years because he already had 2 years still left on his deal?
Yeah, I'll stay with a shitty team.
Yeah, right?
Getting paid that much money.
Yeah, absolutely insane. Also, the running back that the Broncos signed was former Broncos running back Javonte Williams for a 1-year, $3 million deal that has a max to be $3.5 million.
Nice.
So Cowboys once again showing that they're all in by signing running backs that are way past their prime. Sorry, Cowboys fans. Darius Slayton stays in New York with the Giants. Vikings signing former Pro Bowl Colts center in Ryan Kelly, who got benched.
About that a little bit.
You said what now? Sorry, I wasn't listening to you.
We talked about that one a little bit.
Yeah, very briefly we touched.
This year, so.
Yeah, very briefly touched on that. I know there was big things that happened right off the bat. DK Metcalf got traded to the Steelers. That's going to be an interesting, having 2 of the biggest egos in the NFL on the same side of the football, both who wear number 14. I've been sending Jeremy memes all day about Kenny Pickett putting DK through a table because they both want number 14.
I'm gonna put it out there for the record. DK would whoop his ass.
Oh, he would. He absolutely would. Have you seen DK? If you have never seen a photo of DK Metcalf, I'm going to real quick just going to pop a photo right there. That's DK Metcalf. Post production time. So yeah, DK Metcalf, absolute animal, would absolutely kill him. Trying to think of any other major signings to think about. What was the first one of the day? I know there was a pretty decent one to start off the day, if I'm not mistaken. So back in the beginning of the day, we had Chris Godwin re-signing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I almost said Chargers. I don't know where that came from. But the Chargers did, in fact, re-sign Khalil Mack, who was supposed to be the topic because the Bears posted a highlight video of, I don't even remember what it was, but it had 4 clips of Khalil Mack, and there was also conversations that Khalil Mack wanted to return to Chicago, something that I'm glad didn't happen, quite frankly. That might be a hot take. I don't want a guy who's 32. He's on a 1-year prove-it deal. Hassan Reddick signs a deal with the Buccaneers as well. So at this point, the Jets now have Justin Fields and who's the running back out there? Garrett Wilson? Both OSU alums?
Yes.
Yeah, Justin Fields. Yeah, Justin Fields gets to pass back to his old OSU receiver.
That's a good story.
Yeah,
You know?
it is a feel good story.
It's a good feel-good story.
It is. You don't get a lot of those in the NFL. But yeah, return of the Mac back in the Chargers. I had to do it. Yeah, a lot of guards moving around. I thought the Bears had overpaid for the center. However, after seeing some of the contracts that some of the offensive line guys have got, and after hearing the reports that he actually took a pay cut to go with the Bears, now what the other teams were, I'm not sure. But I thought we had overpaid for him. But after hearing that he took a pay cut, I'm incredibly happy. We saw an offensive tackle go to the Chiefs today for, I believe it was the same amount of years. It was just a lot more money. Let me see if I can find it real fast here. 2 years, $30 million guaranteed. We got our guy for 3 years, $36 million, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So $6 million more for another year more. I'm a lot happier with that than.
It's a good trade-off.
Yeah. Oh yeah, here it is. 3 years, $42 million. Sorry, so $12 million more for an extra year. 28 of it is guaranteed. The offensive tackle, Jalen Moore, I believe, is fully guaranteed. This year, I don't know if you noticed or not, this year is not super deep in the free agency. Kind of a shallow free quarterbacks. The prime quarterbacks you had was old Aaron Rodgers. Sam Darnold was kind of the hot one, which is weird. I never thought I would say that Sam Darnold was the hot
The big
ticket.
name quarterbacks are all under
Locked
contract
up.
right
Yeah,
now.
that's absolutely right.
Most of the quarterbacks that are on the market right now are backups or like you said, old Aaron Rodgers or.
Yeah, and another thing too, I noticed a lot of especially the O-line guys. There's not a lot of people coming off their first contract. There's a small handful of guys coming off their first contract. A lot of these guys are veterans that have been around the league for 1 or 2 contracts already at this point. And a lot of the O-line, it's very widely regarded around the league this year as an O-line class that has a long injury history. And it's pretty true. A lot of the guys that are out there right now, Tavon Jenkins, the former Bear, he missed half the season last year. There's a lot of those guys out there like that, that just couldn't quite hit the niche that they were supposed to, and it kind of showed. We don't see a lot of guys. We see people still paying for them, obviously, because the ones that are good are coming at a premium this year. So it's a good year if you're not a good O-lineman to get paid, because there's no one else out there. Yeah. Other than that, Jimmy Garoppolo re-signed with the Rams for another 1-year deal.
Actually,
So that is what it is. He gets to just chill out there and just pretend to be a footballer for another year and make money off of it. Yeah. Yeah, that's about most of the big ones that I'm finding that are out right now. I'm going to refresh one more time. Update on the QB carousel just because it's here. Raiders get Geno Smith. Seahawks, Sam Darnold. Dolphins get Zach Wilson. Jets get Fields. Browns get Kenny Pickett. And the Patriots get Joshua Dobbs. I forgot. Joshua Dobbs signed a backup contract to go to the Patriots.
That's right.
The Lions are re-signing offensive lineman Dan Skipper. That's what I got. That's what I got. Like I said, if news breaks tomorrow that Aaron Rodgers has signed with the Steelers, you heard it here first on the Unprofessional Experts. And if he doesn't, then you didn't hear it from us. Chargers signed Najee Harris. I don't know if I said that or not. I think I did. That's most of the big ones we got this year so far.
Yeah.
It's still early.
Still got Still got tomorrow, so.
Yep, it's we're still early in legal tampering period. I'm sure by the same time we come back and record this next week, there will be a lot more signings, and we'll have a lot better picture of what teams are looking to do. I know I have a lot better picture of what the Bears are trying to do based on the signings we've made, and that gives me hope. I don't know if you have a clear picture of what the Colts are trying to do. You guys actually made signings for once in legal tampering period.
I already told you what I wanted, what I think the Colts should do.
Yeah.
So.
And you think that is tight end? Is there any other major holes that you think the team needs to address? Is there? I didn't ask you. Is there a better?
It's either.
Did you answer what veteran quarterback you would want? So hold on.
Oh yeah, I really like.
Kind of different.
If it's a cheap option, that's all I care about.
You want Gardner Minshew back? Hold on. Timeout. By the way, I want to call you out. How are you going to say tight end or offensive tackle and then reach for a tight end when there's a lot of good offensive tackles?
Tight end, is it?
It's a pretty good reach. I don't think any tight end in this class is worth going in the third round or the first round. Just like I will stand by this, not a single quarterback should be going in the first round this year. I'm going to look directly at you. Not a single quarterback should go in the first round this year. They're all trash.
I mean, I agree, but at the same time, the Browns have to draft somebody.
No, they don't. They just got Kenny Pickett. The Titans have to draft somebody. The Titans should draft Cam Ward. The Titans should draft Cam Ward, and that is it. He should be the only. Shedeur Sanders.
I've been seeing Abdul Carter number 1.
No, they need a quarterback too much. We'll get into our whole mock draft later, and we can debate that. But for right now, we're going to move on to the next topic, where we're going to talk about what's going on in the baseball world a little bit. The Cubs open up the series against the Dodgers.
Stop. Just stop. Cubs are going to win the World Series. That's all.
I would love to see it, but I think we still have a big glaring issue at third base, as we don't know who our third base starter is going to be. It's very possible that's going to be Matt Shaw. That's who I think a lot of people want to see there, and that's a guy who I want to see there. Oh, no, I messed things up. We're good. I'd like to see Matt Shaw there. Really good young guy. However, a guy who has been storming onto the scene and has stolen my heart is third baseman that we just picked up from Detroit in the Rule 5 draft, named, please hold.
That is Matt Shaw.
No, Gage Tater Workman, and yes, his middle name is not Tater, it's a nickname, but I will always refer to him as Gage Tater Workman. It'll never be Gage Workman. Gage Tater Workman has had an incredible season so far down there during the summer ball. Gage Workman, let's pull up his numbers. Born in 99, he's only 25 years old. A guy who can play the shortstop position, so gives us depth there. In 32 at-bats, has 14 hits, 3 home runs, 13 RBIs, and 3 stolen bases. OPS, which on-base plus slugging percentage, for those of you who don't know, is 122, batting average of 438. He is absolutely tearing it up, just like Kevin Alcantara, absolutely doing great. His numbers in spring training this year: 25 at-bats, 5 runs, 7 hits, 4 RBIs, and a stolen base, 280. On-base percentage of 333 and OPS of 733. Jeremy's wondering how I'm pulling these numbers so quickly. It's called I'm on the MLB's website, and I'm pulling them up as quick as I can think about them. Kyle Tucker hit his first home run. That's an interesting one to talk about. His first hit in the Cactus League is a home run. He has 20 at-bats before he finally got a hit, which mildly worried. Is that worrying to you? We traded Kyle Tucker for quite a bit.
I'm not concerned.
King Tucker, age 28, coming into his last year of his contract, not looking. I think
spring training. This is where you get all that off.
Yeah, I agree. However, it's just I think it's a mildly concerning, something to kind of keep an eye on. I believe Michael Busch is having a good. Yes, he is having a really good 28 at bats, 13 hits, 1 home run, 10 RBIs, a stolen base, 464 batting average, and a 123 OPS. And OPS is like the big measurement that a lot of people go on at this point in the season. And actually, that's the big number now. The biggest name that has stolen my heart, though, is Pico Armstrong.
You saw a glimpse of it last year, man.
Oh yeah, we saw glimpses of it, and I was super excited about it. And I was one of those guys that I said, if he can get the barrel to the bat, and he can get on more, he is going to be dangerous. Especially, he is on the radio out here in Chicago because I drive around a refinery for a living. So I have a lot of time just to sit there and listen to the radio. They are referring to him as a dirt disturber. Which I think is funny. I don't know if you find that funny or not, but they're referring to him as a dirt disturber. So far in this spring training alone, he does have 2 stolen bases. He has a little league home run. He's stretched. He has stand-up doubles on stand-up doubles that should be outs at second. He's incredibly fast guy, batting .520 average with a 154 OPS, 3 home runs with 13 hits on 25 at-bats. If you don't know who I'm talking about, he's the one that has the stars, not spray painted, but he has the stars in his hair. He dyed stars into his hairs. It's cool. It's fun. I'm trying to think of who else. The Cubs have a lot of young guys who have done incredibly well.
Lots of talent.
Yeah, so the Cubs have the International Opening Day coming up here soon. Recently, we did find out that third baseman prospect Matt Shaw will not be making the trip as he continues to rehab from having an issue with his abdomen. So he will not be making the trip. However, Gage Tater Workman will. Matt Shaw having an okay season so far. He hasn't really gotten to play much on the diamond. He's been more pinch hitting. But he is had 14 at-bats with 4 hits, 3 RBIs, a stolen base, batting .286 with a OPS of .661. So yes, we will have Gage Tater Workman taking his spot in a position that we thought we were going to be very shallow in, but it's kind of looking like we may have quite a bit of depth of guys that are ready. Because for those of you who don't know, when the Rule 5 draft, if you do not keep that player in the MLB, not just on your 40-man roster, if they do not stay in the MLB for the remainder of the season, they go back to the team that you drafted them from. So if we do not keep Gage Tater Workman in the MLB, he will go back to the Detroit Tigers. And then to round out the biggest topics that we have going on, Garrett Cole has been announced that he will have season-ending Tommy John surgery. Kind of tough to see on a guy that I'm really not a huge fan of ever since the sticky stuff came out with him and his spin rate. I think he's kind of slimy, but he will have Tommy John surgery and his season will be over. Tough break for the Yankees. And Jeremy says he's got something fun for me, so let's hear it.
So there's a headline that came out today.
Uh-huh.
Have you seen New Era's new hats that they released today?
No.
So basically, what they are
they MLB hats?
They're MLB hats. They're baseball hats. So on the front of it, it's got the team name of it, and then right in the center is the team logo, right?
Okay.
Well, the Rangers, right? They on theirs, I think it's just TEXAS, right? Well, their logo's a T, and they put that right in the middle. Well, do you know what TETAS spells in Spanish? What's it mean?
Hold on, TET.
TETAS. I don't know if you want to look it up.
I'm looking up a photo of this first.
Your reaction. Yeah, look up a photo.
Okay, so now I will hold on. Let me switch the screen so we can drop a photo. Here is what the hat looks like. I'll keep it up on the screen.
It's Texas, got the big T in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't see the X, so it's a TETAS.
Does it just mean tits? I was like, does it just mean tits? Tatas? It just means
it's just slang for tits.
You know, sometimes I don't.
It's 2 years in a row now that New Era has put out a hat like this. Last year, if you remember the A's, it was their holographic.
It's an ass on it, didn't it?
It's called ass.
I do remember that. Maybe we'll drop a photo of that right here now of the ass hat. That's hilarious. I absolutely love that. Fanatics did remove the hat from the website, from what I'm reading.
So if you were able to get one,
yeah, if you have a Tatas hat,
have fun. You're rich now. So.
Yeah, you enjoy that hat. No one else will ever have a Tatas hat. That's incredible. But, yeah, do we have anything else to talk about today? Is that all we got?
I think that's wrapping it up. Yeah.
Well, but we're back. We're already delayed on what the initial plan was. I think during the off season, the schedule for us is going to be try and record on Saturdays. So any news that comes out between Saturday and when this is posted, hopefully on a Monday. Sorry, we missed it. We'll address it next week. And then when the NFL season rolls around, I don't think we'll be wanting to record on a Saturday and then post on a Monday when there's football games on Sunday. So we'll figure something out then. But for now, expect videos to come out on Mondays, Tuesday, maybe Wednesday for this one, probably Wednesday. This might be a short week for us just because I don't want to edit this tonight. It's already 9:45 and I still have to eat. So we're back. We're glad to be back. Make sure you follow us on all major. Are we on every platform?
Basically everything.
I know podcast wise, we're on Apple. We're on Spotify. We're on. I almost said iTunes, but that's Apple. We're on YouTube podcast. We're on iHeartRadio. I don't think we're on SoundCloud anymore. SoundCloud kind of acted weird to me. Amazon Music.
I don't think so.
No, we're on Amazon Music.
Oh shit.
Yeah, we're on everything. Bro, I got us all hooked up. We do have a TikTok. We'll be posting clips. We have a Twitter. Follow us there where we will be reporting on things as soon as we can get our hands on them. Yeah, I think that's what we got. Follow us on YouTube, Twitter. We do have a Twitch where maybe we will actually stream things again for once. Did Twitter go down again?
Maybe for you, it's up for me.
Or is it because I typed in twitter.com and not x.com?
Maybe that.
I gotta type in x.com. Yeah, Colts Cam Bynum, 4 years, $60 million, $32 million guaranteed. Did we see this already?
I think so, yeah.
Cam Bynum, yeah.
Yeah, for Vikings.
Yeah. I don't know why Colts was tagged in that. Oh yeah, he was a former Viking. That's what it was. Sorry about that. So everyone, enjoy your Tatas hat, enjoy your ass hat, and we will see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.